Hi everyone, it's Jeanette here from the sewing studio with, as promised, part 2 of the Tilda Ginger Jar. Now this is one of the free patterns that Tilda released alongside her latest fabric range, which was the Something Blue, all these lovely blues. I think she's got these as quilts and she's also done these as cushions. So if you just want to have a go at the block, you can sort of make the cushion. Now we've done the piecing of the ginger jar and the curve piecing in a separate video. So if you haven't seen that, go and check that one out. That will be on our YouTube channel and we'll put a link to it in the description below as well. But in this one, I'm just going to give you a little, very short overview of the freezer paper method for applique that Tilda describes and mentions in her pattern. So let's just have a look at how to make some of the shapes. So the actual freezer paper method making the applique shapes. Now, one of the reasons we use freezer paper is because on the shiny side, it used to be wax, but now I guess it's some sort of plastic coating. But what that means is, and I'm going to take that to the iron, when we iron that to the fabric, it will stick. We don't need any other glue. Now, if you haven't got freezer paper, don't go rush out and buy freezer paper. You can just use normal paper. Just make sure it's not too thin and flimsy because you want that to hold the shape. When you bend it over, you don't want your paper to sort of crumple at the edges and you lose your shape that way. So I'm going to take that to the iron and just put some heat on that and that will stick it down. Now I'm just making sure that I've got space all around that shape to cut a seam allowance. So it shouldn't take long there. Now already you can see there that's now adhered, and once you cut the shape you can use the shape several times over and over again. Now if you haven't got the freezer paper and you're just using normal paper, a glue pen, and you can just glue that down, it works just as well. Now, the thing, if we're doing the freezer paper method, is you have to turn the pattern over because it's going to come out reversed. Also, if you're doing raw edge applique, you need to turn the pattern over. So all I did is I got my light box out, put that on the light box and just traced it through to get the shapes. If you haven't got a light box, you can stick it to your window or anything else with a light source behind it that you can see through. But make sure you flip it over. If you don't, your flowers will just be pointing in the opposite direction. So not the end of the world, but if you want it to look exactly as Tilda's designed it, you need to flip it over. So once we've done that, we're going to cut out our shape. Now I use my little Fiskars spring-loaded. They're super, super sharp. So do be careful. I have cut myself on the tips of these more than once, just by sort of nicking my skin. So I do have to be a bit more sort of careful. Now, if you want to mark it before you cut it, you can, but I'm just giving myself, I'm going to call it a generous 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to cut around that shape. And then I'm just going to, once again, just whiz the fabric round, get a nice curve there. There we are. So that's our shape with the seam allowance. When you come to putting that you clip inside curves but not outside curves. Now I think in the instructions Tilda has a diagram where you clip all the way around, but I was taught clip inside curves, not outside curves. So what do I mean by that? Let me just bring this other one in and close my dangerous scissors. That would be an inside curve. So anything with a concave, so caves go in, I would clip on this one there. That's an outside curve, so that's convex. I wouldn't clip there. And the reason I was taught that is if you clip an outside curve, you can sometimes end up with like little bumps in it where you've clipped, and it doesn't always need it on an outside curve. So I followed my rule, but you do you. I would clip here and don't go all the way. I think in the pattern for a 1/4 inch seam, she recommends about 3 mm cut. I'm just going to snip all along there. Now I'm actually just going to trim that down just a little bit more because I know, and just take a little bit more off there. We don't want too much fabric at those at the points where we've got any points. Now here, the only inside curve I can see is there, so I'm just going to do a little 3 snips there. I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to cut. Now if I need to put some extra snips in, I can later. So now you can get a glue pen. Now the other method Tilda suggests in the pattern is using spray starch. And with that, you spray it in the lid and just use a paintbrush and paint on the fabric. Basically, you want something that's just going to make that crease for you, hold the shape of the pattern that you're doing. So I tend to start on the inside, and I'm just going to put some glue just on the edge. Now you can probably see on this one, I've used this template before, and that's the other benefit of the freezer paper. You can use it more than once, and I'm just going to go a little way along. And then what I'm just going to do is just push up those fabrics. Let's put that a bit more centrally, just so that, and then when I get there, and put a bit more glue down. I'm just going to work my way around that shape. Now, when you come to that point, you will have a flappy, like a little dog ear. Don't be tempted to snip that off, because you will end up with a hole. You will need to let it sort of hang off, and then we deal with that when we come to sew it down. And all we do with that, and I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Let me just get this round. Sorry, I've gone quiet. I'm gluing. Just going to make sure that's all stuck, and I'm going to have a look at it from the front, because you want to take the time at this point to make sure your edges are nice and smooth, because it's easier to smooth them out than think, oh, I'll just, you know, neaten that up when I come to sew it down. And you can just sort of use the heat of your fingers to... Now, I'm by no means an expert at needle turn or freezer paper methods, but this is how I did that one. So I'm happy with that shape on that. Now you can see here where we've got that little bit hanging out. Like I say, don't be tempted to snip that off. What we'll do is, as we'll sew that down, what we'll do with our needle, we'll use our needle to just push it under before we stitch it down. So it needs to be there. It's a little bit like when we're doing triangles or diamonds in English paper piecing. You leave the little dog ears on and you just sort of tuck them in and under as you go. So that's how that shape is made. Now let's just have a little look at the leaf shape. It'll be the same. So I'm going to start here again and just go round. Oh. Now I know there's lots of YouTube tutorials about people that do different applique, and they're much wiser and more experienced probably than me. So do go and check them out if you're interested. And once again on that shape, I've just got a little bit of a dog ear at the top there, which we will use our needle, as I said, to tuck it under when we actually come to sew that down. So that's our two leaf shapes made. Now just the final thing. Now you can either just let them dry, but that now you should have a nice crease in the fabric. But to make sure I've got a nice crease, I'm just going to hit it with the iron. So let me just see where I put my little... Now the easiest way, because at first I tried to just sort of peel it back, but then quite a lot of the fabrics were fraying. So the easiest way I found to do it was to get my little awl and just run it. And this is my next little top tip. Just run it under the edge of the fabric, and you can see there it's just lifting up, it's coming away. I'll just go around here. And if you haven't got an awl, like say anything that you can just sort of get in there, and it's just sort of getting in under and releasing the glue from the paper. Now let me just show you, because I'm going to tear that one away. And what you do sometimes when you tear it away is, because you're sort of pulling on the fabric, it can fray a little bit more. But you can, like I say, just pull it away. But I just found just going round, just easing that under. And then I can just get under there remove that whole shape. And hopefully now, even then without the paper in, you can see it's held its shape. So that's as much as I really wanted to show you. I stitched them down with just a little slip stitch. So that's the same stitch that you use when you're putting the binding down. Now I think both myself and Katrina have done different tutorials on sort of different hand sewing methods. And I know slip stitch was one in there. So you can go and have a look at that. So I hope you found that a little bit useful. I hope if you haven't seen that before, there was something beneficial in there for you. And I hope it's inspired a few of you at least to give it a go. So thank you for that. Thank you for spending some time with us here again today. And please do join us again here next time in the sewing studio.